the lasagna. It arrived steaming, a monument of pasta, sauce, and cheese. Each Wednesday, Alex performed this minor miracle. Layers of perfectly cooked pasta, tender, yielding. Between them, a rich, slow-simmered ragu, deep red, intensely savory. And cheese. Oh, the cheese. Golden brown, bubbling, stretching with every forkful. This wasn't just food, it was a statement. A weekly masterpiece served on a simple plate. Pure comfort. The lasagna, though, was legendary. Our shared sacrament, a constant in the swirling chaos of life. Something to look forward to, something to trust. A beacon of warmth in a city that could often feel cold and indifferent. Then things began to shift. Subtly at first. A slight change in the air. Or perhaps in me. The lasagna, still magnificent, still a triumph of texture and taste, but there was a note, something I couldn't quite place, an unfamiliar undertone in the richness of the meat sauce. Was it a new spice, a different technique, or was my palate playing tricks on me? Then hesitate, a flicker of doubt, a question mark hanging over the familiar comfort. I told myself it was nothing, imagination, stress, yet the unease lingered, a faint metallic aftertaste. I started asking questions, casually of course, didn't want to offend the artist. "Alex, this ragu is incredible. What's your secret this week?" He'd usually just smile, that enigmatic smile, just the usual magic, Daniel. But his evasiveness felt different now, more pronounced, less playful, more guarded. "Family recipe," he'd sometimes mumble, turning away to busy himself with the dishes. The secrets, once part of his charm, now felt like walls. The kitchen, once a stage for open creation, now seemed to hold something back, something hidden in the shadows of the spice rack. Around the neighborhood, posters started appearing. Missing pets, a tabby cat here, a small terrier there, sad, hopeful faces staring out from telephone poles. I barely registered them at first. City life. These things happened, tragic but distant. A fleeting pang of sympathy, quickly forgotten, but the images began to connect, in some dark corner of my mind, with the vague unease at Alex's table, with the secret ingredients, with the richness of his dishes that sometimes felt too rich. I dismissed the thoughts. Absurd, monstrous. My friend? Impossible. Yet the seed was planted, watered by every evasive answer, every new poster. The Wednesday dinners continued. The food remained exceptional, perhaps even more so, as if Alex was trying harder, compensating for something. But the joy was tainted. The anticipation I once felt was now mixed with a knot of anxiety in my stomach. Was I scrutinizing each mouthful too closely? Was I becoming paranoid? The ritual, once a source of pure pleasure, now felt strained, performative. I ate his food, I praised his cooking, but the unspoken questions hung heavy in the air, thick as the aroma of his simmering sauces. The shared experience felt hollow. One Wednesday I made an excuse, said I'd forgotten my wallet after dinner. A flimsy pretext. Alex had already left for a late shift at his bookstore job. The lie felt clumsy on my tongue. But he bought it, or seemed to. I let myself back into his apartment building, heart pounding a strange rhythm against my ribs. The building was quiet. His apartment door, unlocked as he'd said it would be. I stepped inside. The familiar scent of herbs and cooked food still lingered, but now it felt cloying. My wallet was on the table, where I'd left it. But I wasn't there for the wallet. Not really. A low hum. That's what I heard. Faint, persistent, coming from the back of the apartment, from the direction of the basement door. A door I'd never seen open. Alex always said the basement was just for storage. Damp, uninteresting. He'd always brushed off any curiosity. Now the hum drew me forward. A strange pull. Part dread, part a desperate need to dispel the shadows that had gathered in my mind. My hand hovered over the doorknob. Cold metal. The air around it felt cooler too. This wasn't just storage. I knew it. A primal instinct screamed at me. I turned the knob. It was unlocked. The door creaked open onto a narrow, rickety staircase. Darkness clung to the steps. The air that wafted up was cold. Not just cool. Freezer cold. And the smell. Oh God, the smell. Not the comforting aroma of Alex's kitchen. Not damp earth or old wood. It was metallic, sharp, and something else. Something vaguely organic but utterly chillingly wrong. My stomach churned. I descended. Each step a conscious effort against the urge to flee. At the bottom, a single bare bulb illuminated a large, industrial-looking chest freezer. Padlocked. The hum was louder here. My breath hitched. This was it, the source of the hum, the heart of the secret. My hands trembled as I looked around for something, anything to pry open that lock. A crowbar, conveniently left nearby, felt heavy in my grip. Part of me screamed to stop, to turn around, to run and never look back, but I couldn't. I had to know. With a sickening crunch, the padlock gave way. I lifted the heavy lid. Inside, wrapped in butcher paper, were packages, neatly stacked, labeled in Alex's precise handwriting. Beef, special cut. Pork, premium. Then one package slightly askew. The label, Tabby, Prime. My world fractured. The confrontation was a blur, a nauseating, surreal haze. I remember stumbling back up those stairs, the images from the freezer burned into my retinas, the crowbar still in my hand. Alex returned, whistling, expecting nothing. He saw my face. The color drained from his. "Daniel? What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." His voice so calm, so normal. It made the horror even more grotesque. The man who fed me. The man who... I finally managed to utter his name. A choked whisper. He tried to deny it. Of course he did. Smooth words. Feigned concern. "You're not making sense, buddy. What are you talking about?" But his eyes, they darted towards the basement door. Just for a second. But I saw it. The flicker of panic. The mask slipping. I showed him the photo I'd taken with my shaking phone. The packages. The labels. His carefully constructed composure shattered then. Not into rage, not into fear, but into something chillingly empty, a void. The friendly warmth in his eyes extinguished, replaced by a flat, cold appraisal. He knew I knew. The call to the police felt like an out-of-body experience, my voice distant and strange, reporting the unthinkable. The sirens, when they arrived, were a violent slash of sound in the quiet suburban street. Red and blue lights pulsed through Alex's windows, painting the walls in grotesque, flashing colors. A stark, brutal contrast to the soft lighting of our many dinners. Alex didn't resist. He didn't say a word as they cuffed him. He just looked at me. A long, unreadable look. Was it apology? Accusation? Or something else entirely? Something that spoke of a shared, twisted intimacy I could no longer deny. His confession, they told me later, was chillingly straightforward. No tears, no remorse. He simply laid out the facts. The missing pets from the neighborhood, his special ingredients, his methods. He spoke of it as one might discuss a peculiar hobby, a culinary experiment that had simply run its course. The police were horrified. The city was scandalized. For me, it was the final, brutal severing of a bond I had cherished. The lasagna, the stews, the delicate fish, all of it, tainted, profaned. The man I knew was a carefully crafted illusion, and I had consumed his darkness, week after week. The aftermath was a relentless storm. Media trucks camped outside Alex's house, then mine. My face, my name splashed across news sites. The friend of the cannibal chef. That's what they called me. Sleep became a battlefield of grotesque images. Food, once my greatest pleasure, now inspired only revulsion. The trust I'd once given so freely to a plate of food, to a friend, was gone. Therapy helped, slowly, talking about it. Or perhaps the monster he had always been, hidden beneath a veneer of culinary charm. The media frenzy died down. I tried to rebuild. I started cooking for myself again, simple things. Then, the package arrived. Small, square, no return address. Tucked beneath it, a small, neatly folded note. Alex's handwriting, bon appetit, A. The nightmare wasn't over.